Installation arts is considered to be one of the most contemporary forms of art. It is an artistic genre of works that are usually site-specific and are designed to induce a broader sensory experience and transform one's perception of self and space. It is a form of conceptual art where the concept or idea involved in the artwork takes precedence over its aesthetic qualities. Moreover, installation arts put a high value and meaning to the production and the materials used in the artworks.
To truly understand and appreciate installation artworks, one must experience and interact with them. This was why our group did not waste the opportunity to go to the Art Fair Philippines 2019 at the LINC Ayala Center, Makati, last February 23. As we entered the venue, we were welcomed by a variety of astonishing and wonderful artworks in different shapes and forms. However, despite the interesting artworks catching our attention, we embarked on our journey to look for what we originally came for: installation artworks. We found a number of installation artworks, but we will only expound on our few chosen ones. This is because these chosen artworks have imparted thought-provoking messages and ideas to their audience. Starting with our first chosen artwork, A Stitch in Time by David Medalla is a participatory installation artwork which starts off as a blank canvas. The artwork seems to not carry any initial meaning, but instead invites the audience to join in the creation and the process of reaching the final form of the work. At the side lays a 15-meter-long white canvas. Above it hangs a rope with spools of thread in different colors, and on it lays a variety of needles and pairs of scissors. The audience are given the freedom to choose any thread or needle they would like to use and are encouraged by the work to stitch something valuable for them or any impulse they have. By doing so, they are embedding or leaving a trace of each one's existence and memory on the artwork. Every stitch made by a person increases the sentimental value that the artwork holds, making it more meaningful as the number of stitches increase. The artwork can be considered as a work in progress, waiting to be completed and to have meaning through the participation of the audience. From this, it is evident how important the audience are in the creation and appreciation of an installation artwork, to the point that their absence would have easily made the entire artwork meaningless, since installation artworks are specially made for the audience to experience and to interact with. Due to its temporality, it suggests that the artwork is confined within the limits of space and time, and thus it will eventually leave something behind on purpose. Because of this conceptual constraint, we now know that our presence is greatly intertwined with the artwork, affecting its own existence in the process. Eventually, the installation artwork is able to achieve its goal of provoking us to do something about the connections and memories that we have gained from those experiences.
Moving on to the next artwork, Oscar Villamiel's Cheap Medicine is an installation art that gives off an eerie and haunting vibe inside an enclosed room. The 200 laughing heads placed in this room are made from coconut shells, which are fixed onto bamboo poles and supported by bases of concrete. Aside from this, the abaca fiber on top of the coconut shells features the messy hair of each head, completing a strange face of a person. While walking through the installation art, one can see that the faces are entirely different from each other. Every head is fabricated through pulp, and it is also covered with acrylic. The faces are distinctive with their mouths open, which showed huge gaps between their teeth. In this way, all of the coconut heads have a bizarre expression that manages to create a disturbing experience for its viewers. It is as if one is passing by a haunted place filled with creepy heads that are all looking at you with their spooky eyes and bizarre mouths.
Relating to the title, the ominous expression of the heads, cheap medicine is a term alternatively used for the word laughter, in which the coconut heads are laughing at the same time. However, this laughter does not come in a form of response to a humorous situation and is actually created for a darker perspective. Contradictory to its euphoric title, the figures indulge themselves not through the medicinal influence of laughter but through their concealment of their own hardships and suffering.
Considering the background of Oscar Villamil as a Filipino artist who reflects state affairs and social issues around him through his artworks, Cheap Medicine is a social realist artwork that was made in response to the existing realities of injustice wherein undeserving individuals are put in positions of power. With this intention, the atmosphere of the artwork of Villamil is gloomy and distressing because of how the ordinary Filipino actually look like when they use cheap medicine as an alternative way for them to overcome their poor living conditions. They do not have a choice but to laugh it all off while the government is unable to provide aid and our politicians keep the country's wealth in their pockets. At the same time, his work tries to connect nature with its slow growth and ultimate disintegration. Using organic materials found in his home province of Atimotan, Quezon, it emphasizes that man is essentially linked to nature with its cycle of birth, life, and death, showing that the wealth generated will be useless to the corrupt politicians in their eventual deaths.
The last artwork is what its artist intended to be, a bibliothèque of books that are made of wood. It is entitled Forest for the Trees and was created by the 57-year-old Balikbayan artist Cristina Quisumbing Ramilo. Measuring 12 meters across, Forest for the Trees is considered to be Ramilo's largest and most ambitious work. Because of her high respect for the materials that she uses, Ramilo did not simply gather wood from any place to create this wooden library. A portion of the woods that were used in this artwork were scraps from the renovation of her family's ancestral house in Quezon City, while some were taken from the Spanish colonial houses at Las Casas Filipinas de Acuzar in Bagac, Bataan. To invite its audience to interact with the artwork, pieces of chalk were placed among the array of wooden blocks that represent the books. The audience were encouraged to write whatever they wanted, presumably words important to them, on the spines of the books, as if marking their different life stories through the made-up library. This idea leads to the advocacy of Cristina Ramilo in making Forest for the Trees that gives it a theatrical quality. Not only does the artwork present an environmental cause, given the concept of repurposing and the mood set by the eco-materials, but it also provides a deeper sense of the preservation of history, memories, and ideas through the use of wood, which is the basic material in creating paper, where these stories are written and made timeless, compiled into books, and placed in the bibliothèque of life. However, similar to how trees can be burned and how easily chalk can be erased, these supposedly timeless memories could be revoked and lost if we take them for granted. This particular installation art makes an enigmatic state of familiarity and understanding among itself and the viewer, as it exists not as a valuable object to be simply looked at, but rather as a complete unified existence inside the overall context of its surrounding space. Furthermore, as we explore such artworks and dwell upon their messages, we realize that they are indeed created to inspire and stimulate our own thoughts and emotions. which allows us to experience the artwork as it is and may even help us to rethink our attitudes and values in our own lives. In this way, it changes our perceptions about life in general and encourages us to become better versions of ourselves.
As we gradually learn more about the different characteristics of installation art, we notice that it conveys its ideas, intentions, and advocacies in a different way from the many distinct art forms. After gaining this experience, we realize that installation art extends beyond mere entertainment. It influences, it liberates, and it also forces us to confront the truths of humanity and our existence. Hence, we now understood that installation art is one of the ultimate expressions of human emotions and creativity. Some may not perceive the value in that, but it truly makes our lives more meaningful and worthwhile.